Welcome to Supplier Spot Spotlight, the podcast where we shine a light on the RV, park, and campground outdoor hospitality industry. Join us as we chat with suppliers, park owners, and staff, uncovering insights, strategies, and stories that will elevate your outdoor experience. Get ready for inspiration and innovation in every episode.
Hey everybody, Bobby Sorden here with Supplier Spot, and I'm here with Chuck. I didn't even know how to say your last name. Is it Dunay?
Dunay.
I was way off. I should have asked before we started recording, but hey, that's
okay.
what this is all about. So, Chuck Dunay, and he's with RMS. So Chuck, thank you for being on with me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's exciting.
Yeah, I know we did a lot of talking before we started recording, so got to catch up with everything. So yeah, I'm excited to have you on here. RMS Cloud. RMS, of course, is a software for campgrounds, RV parks, but Chuck's going to tell us more about that anyways. But before we get into RMS, Chuck, I gave you a little bit of information about Supplier Spot and kind of my background, where I came from. What are your thoughts about Supplier Spot, and how do you think the site is and how it will help the industry?
Oh, yeah. Getting more information from you before we got started here was very helpful. But yeah, just looking at it prior to, when I got the invitation from you is you've got a good resource here for park owners, and more information is always helpful. So, there are lots of choices out there for software for my industry, but other products that park owners will use. So, more information, the better. I go to trade shows, speak to people, and getting this type of resource to them, I think it's going to be, or is, very valuable. And I know you got some exciting things coming with it too.
Yeah. Like I told you before coming on camera, and I say this at every podcast because it seems like it's taken forever to get done, but completely revamping the site. I've been working with a developer now that I think he's doing a really good job for what I'm wanting. I've learned too, Chuck, that, and I'm a website builder myself. I built numerous websites. I know how to do WordPress, Elementor, all that good stuff. I didn't realize how difficult it could be, though, to make like a directory and a e-commerce type site all in one. So the guy I'm working with now, though, he has my thoughts and my ideas. So I think it's going to work out really well. And it's just going to look a lot better and make it a lot easier for people to navigate and find, suppliers, and whether they're looking for products or services. And the goal is for people who have products that they want to sell, they can actually have a little store as well. And that's my goal behind it. But if people just want to list services, such as like RMS here, if they just want to get some information out about who they are, what they do, and have a direct contact, the new site, you'll be able to put like your address and web address and phone numbers and contacts and things like that. So that's my goal, and I'm hoping to have it done in the next couple months or so. But right now, Supplier Spot's doing what it needs to do and get the information out there. Like I know I worked with your marketing director, and they put all these cool pictures on here for people to browse through. So RMS right on here, it's got some information on there. So it looks like you guys are located, well, you told me down in Australia, huh? The headquarters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the main headquarters, but our North America headquarters is in San Diego. So
okay. Maybe
I'm remote.
Right here, huh?
Yeah.
I got a car. I thought that was the coast of like Africa, or not Africa.
Yeah.
Wrong continent.
Australia. Yeah, that's the West Coast here. Yeah, that's RMS North America's office. I'm on the other side of the country. I'm in South Carolina. I work remotely, but most of our team in North America is there in San Diego.
Yeah, and what's really cool is I just learned before we started recording that you have Starlink and a camper, and you go and work remote, out in the campgrounds or out in the wilderness while you're doing demos and stuff. So you're like the true person that's out there camping, talking about these types of softwares with campground owners, huh?
Actually, my background originally was in hotels. I managed and worked around hotels for 20 years, and then I sold a hotel software program for 15 years, and then I came to RMS, and primarily with campgrounds, and I had to get an RV. I got a little 20-foot or 18-foot teardrop trailer, and I work for, my wife's a school teacher. When she's off during the summer, we hit the road, and I've driven across the country a couple of times and stop at campgrounds and work from there. And of course, try to let the park owner know about our software.
Yeah, that's great. And that's great. I didn't even know your wife was a teacher, because before we were recording, you learned that I was a marketing business teacher for about 15 years. And that's what's great is I was an avid camper, or I still am. I just don't have it anymore. But we used to leave for the summers as well, and you're going to get a kick out of this, I bet. I had a 36-foot fifth wheel that I pulled
Oh, wow.
with my 2500, my Chevy 2500, and then we pulled our 20-foot boat behind the fifth wheel.
Oh,
So
wow.
we were a little over 80 feet long, and technically not legal, but
Yeah, I was going to say some states that's not legal.
yeah, and we only really went from Colorado to New Mexico, or because I live in Colorado, or we would go up to Nebraska every once in a while to Lake McConaughey. But we had one of our favorite lakes. It was called Elephant Butte down in New Mexico, and my sister and brother-in-law and family lived down there. So we would take the camper, and the great thing about it is we had those little Honda 6-pack generators, and we tie those suckers together, and it would run our AC. I brought my DirecTV satellite dish, and so we would live at the side of the lake for a couple of weeks at a time, boating with the kids and everything. So it's always just a great way of doing things. And then, of course, if we couldn't get on the side of the lake, we parked in the campground and, got to know the campground staff. And, so I'm an avid camper myself. But we sold out all that stuff whenever our kids got into like middle school and high school because activities took over everything, so
Yep, I know how.
Yeah. But eventually, though, we'll probably have another one soon. My goal is once my son graduates in 2 years is to get a diesel pusher. And then my wife and I are going to do what you guys are doing, but make it more full-time. So I want to drive around in the diesel pusher and have Starlink so we can still do some work from home and go from campground to the real nice upscale RV resorts, but then also go back to some smaller ones. And that's our goal in 2 years, but we'll see what happens. So.
Oh, that's cool. Well, one thing, I was watching one of your other podcasts, and you had mentioned that you have a Harley Davidson.
I do.
And so do I. Actually,
nice.
my very first was here. I get a little model of it.
That's a Heritage. I see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I sold that one. I now have an Ultra Limited, but that was my first Harley. But yeah, you're going to need a trailer for that.
Oh, you know what? It's so funny you just said that. 3 days ago, I just bought a new trailer. It's a 5.5 by 10 foot with the drop down gate. But I think though, whenever I pull the diesel pusher, I'm going to get a big long cargo trailer. Because here, I know we're getting a little bit off topic, but this is a fun conversation. So my vision right now is to have, a nice diesel pusher. Then I'm going to have a full enclosed cargo trailer so you don't get rock chips and stuff on my Harley. Because I have a 2012 Street Glide right now, but eventually I'll have a brand new one. I'll probably give this Street Glide to my son. But and I go to Sturgis every year too. I'm not sure if you've ever been to Sturgis.
Not during bike week. I've been there other times.
Yeah, no, it's great during bike week. And, I don't get out rowdy and stuff. And we stay at a hotel that shuttles us over downtown. So we never ride the bikes when we're out there unless we're riding during the day. So, but anyways, where I'm going with this is I want to be able to put my Harley in there. I want to be able to put a golf cart in there. And I think we're going to get one of those little mini smart cars, little 2-seater ones. They're like squished. So that way, if we can't go anywhere in the golf cart, we can just jump in the smart car and drive somewhere if we need to. We have all 3 of those right in the cargo trailer, so we can roll in and have all of our stuff there. So
I look forward to seeing you out there.
Oh yeah, that's our goal. Because I definitely will hit North Carolina, South Carolina. Definitely, there's so many beautiful resorts over there. Like I go to the Carvick show every year and been to Myrtle Beach and traveled around with them when they did the little crawl to several parks. So, yeah, well, all right. So I'm done blabbing about all that stuff. That's cool. I didn't know you had a Harley too. So you got the big boy. You got the nice little Relax Ultra. So yeah, if you ever want to go to Sturgis, let me know. We have a great routine. We usually go out on a Friday. We come back either on a Sunday or Monday. We're not wild and crazy like what people are there. And we're usually back at our hotel room by midnight because everybody knows nothing good happens.
Oh, yeah. Way past my bedtime. I'm 9 o'clock on the day.
There you go. Well, cool. Let's start with RMS. I got your site up here and let's talk about it. So when did it get started? Where did RMS come from? Does RMS stand for something? Let's just learn a little bit about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been with the company now for over 7 years, but the company has been around for 40 years. It started originally in Melbourne, Australia.
Okay.
The down there they don't have RV, but they call them caravan parks. Caravan parks and holiday parks, I think is another term. But here we call them RV parks. But the company started. The original, the founder, Peter Buttigieg, not to be confused with Pete Buttigieg, the Treasury Secretary. Peter Buttigieg was the main programmer and founder of the company. He wrote the program, got it started, catering to caravan parks. It was a Windows application that ran on premise. But about 20 years ago, the system became hybrid. and then a web-based system. But RMS really, people always say, what does it stand for? It is Reservation Management System.
Okay.
And that can be confusing. We also work with other lodging establishments, hotels, marinas, youth hostels. So RMS in hotels refers to a revenue management system. So for us, it's a reservation management system. And we opened up our North America office in San Diego. That opened up about 12 years ago, about 5 years before I came aboard with the company. And San Diego is where that office is. As I mentioned, I work remotely. I'm in Travelers Rest, South Carolina. So I work remotely, but most of our team is there. But just a little history on the program. Started really as a family business with the main programmer and his brothers. However, just recently, RMS had a private equity firm partner with them. There's a big infusion of cash. There's a lot of development coming and growth expected from the company. But here in North America, RMS is the name of the product that we cater to primarily for the RV park. I know your site's geared for RV parks and outdoor hospitality. We also, as I mentioned, work with hotels, and we've rebranded the program for hotels called Solanas. There's a website for that. If you go to Solanas.com, it's same product, different name, but it's SOLONIS.com. And Solanas, if that came up, there you go. Solanas is the branding that we have for the system. So I work with RV parks primarily. That's the majority of our business right now, but our hotels as well. So when I do demos, I have to make sure that I say either an RV site or a hotel room or a boat slip. We work with a variety of them. But just so you know, those are the two products really here in North America, with RMS being marketed to RV parks.
Okay. So could RV parks use Salinas if they had like some hotel buildings on site? Like, I sometimes, like here in Colorado, I know there's a few campgrounds where they have RV sites, but then they actually have, it used to be a motel. So they still have the motel piece, but then they added sites around it for RVs. Would Solanas be the best bet for that, or would RMS?
Yeah, really, whichever one is the primary business. We have clients that are both, and some of them may have more RV sites than they do hotels. Some of them may have more hotel rooms than they do RV sites. But either way, it's the same program. It's the branding of it. So we have clients that have both hotels and RV sites. We have some that have RV sites and boat slips. So it's a flexible program to work with different types of lodging establishments. But yes, either way. And if you have both, then I guess we'll pick which name do you want on the skin.
Yeah, right. No, that's awesome. See, I didn't even know that you had another entity with this. Yeah, this is great stuff. So I just saw here, I clicked on industries, went to glamping. Speaking of glamping, are you guys gonna be at the glamping show this year?
Yeah, I think you said Nazreen. She normally goes to that. Bless you. She normally goes to that show. So yeah, we'll be there, and that's a market that we can handle very well. Just like the sites and the rooms.
Yeah, that's funny how you mentioned Nazreen. I see her at a lot of the shows. Her and I think just gotten connected really well. So she's just so fun to talk to. So and
she's good.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll be at the show too. So it's right in my backyard. It's only about an hour drive for me, so it works out well. So
yes, you'll be there again, or I don't know, maybe they'll send me this time. I pretty much stay on shows that are on the East Coast.
Yeah, the East Coast. Yeah, so Carolinas and Floridas and all those other good shows. So I know Mid Atlantic. Well, I think they've changed their name too. I'm not sure if you know much about the Mid Atlantic name changes, but I think they're having theirs in Florida again this year. So yeah. This is awesome stuff. Yeah, I didn't realize you guys could do so much. You can do the boat slips and everything. So,
it's a very flexible program. And when I came aboard 7 years ago, the company really wanted to get more hotels, and that was my background. I've managed hotel. I met my wife at a hotel. That sounds terrible, but I hired her as a desk clerk and we ended up getting married. But I have a hotel background, and then when I left the company that I was working for previously, which was just a hotel software program,
Mhm.
then I became more familiar with RV parks, selling to them. That's the majority of the RMS business.
Okay.
And that's when I went out and got my little 18-foot teardrop trailer. And I said, this is too much fun.
Yeah.
I got to get involved in this. So I've learned the industry from coming aboard with the company and also now being a customer of most of the RV park people that come to our trade shows.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they're guests.
That's great. So I guess a question I have too is like, if I was a park owner, of course, I'm coming up to your booth. I mean, what would be like the opening spiel of your pitch? Your opening catch line to me, because park owners, they really, yeah, where I came from. I gave you a little bit of my background, so I don't ever mention that name anymore. So maybe that's just my immaturity, 45-year-old immature guy, but so yeah, so where I came from, and the question I'm sure you got every time at trade shows, they come up and be like, what makes you better than blah, 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 or why should we go with you over blah, 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 blah. So, of course, I'm going to do the same thing that those campground people would do to me. Like, why are you better than so-and-so? And what would be like your
Sure. Yeah.
pitch?
Yeah, well, people come up and typically, well, what are you using now? And it's amazing how many people have nothing. I mean, it is paper and pencil or a spreadsheet or some homemade system. What are you using now? Are you using another reservation system? And just finding out what's important to them. There are lots of choices out there. And if I'm at a trade show, I'll typically point to one of the other. They're usually right beside me.
Yeah.
You have lots of choices that are there. What's different for us? And really, some of the strengths I say with RMS is just really the amount of configuration. We can really tailor the system to operate the way the clients do. There are some of our competitors out there have a very easy to use basic system, and some clients, smaller parks, our sweet spot for an RV park is typically going to be somewhere between 100 to maybe 500 sites. So if there's a smaller site, what's important to you? If it's just recording my reservations, maybe it'd be someone else that would be a better fit for them. But really, with us is being able to tailor the system, customize it. Just about every field in the system can be relabeled. We can do cash accounting. We can do accrual accounting. We can set up the user interface to change for each individual user. So it's really what's important to you. Are you looking to be able to do some functions that you currently do not have? And I really say that RMS is a very robust system. We can get a lot of that stuff out of the way if you don't need it. But really, one of the differences is being that level of configuration, also the flexibility of the program. Do you have RV sites? Do you have cabins? Do you have hotel rooms? Do you have a lodge? Do you have boat slips? Do you have dorm facilities? Do you have meeting room or banquet facilities? We have modules to accommodate all of that. So it's very flexible. I mean, we also work, I didn't mention that earlier, but we work with the United States Marine Corps. They have their Marine camp community services. And so government facilities, we can run in a very secure area, isolated server environment for them. So flexibility, the type of environment, and then multiple properties. I'd say that's a strength for the system. If you're a property owner that has 2 or more locations, we have a very unique database structure for multiple properties. It's a single database that parses out the data that can handle combined and segregated reporting for each location. So multiple properties is a strength for us. And one that's very important to a lot of people. Some it's not, but a lot of people want to have options for their credit card processing. We do not require you to use our credit card processing. So if you have a good deal on your processing and want some options, we're open to that, very agnostic on the credit card integration. So if you're trying to find something that can use your credit card processor, handle the different types of lodging facilities that you have or multiple properties, that's really where RMS shines.
Yeah, that sounds great. So I did have a question though. So when you said boat slips, I know when I was with the other company, a lot of the question we had was by the foot. Like, can your software do that where it says by, a 20-foot boat slip is this price versus a 30-foot boat slip is this price? Did your module do something like that? I mean, that was
Yeah,
something we were digging into.
Yeah, we can set up if you are pricing the slip based on the length or the width or the draft. That's not very common. It's usually the length. We
Yeah.
have the ability to do that. The one area where we've had some limitations, and I always tell this if somebody, I've encountered this on some saltwater marinas where they have a linear dock and it's 100 foot long. Maybe they can put 10-foot boats or 250-foot boats or
Yeah.
425, but no, on that, there's some ways to manage it, but pricing it based on the foot, yes, we can definitely do that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, cool. I know we were digging into it to try to figure out how we could do it. So that's
And
great.
and also those marinas typically are doing some long term, some leasing.
Yeah.
We have some nice document management, putting the lease applications and documents on our guest portal where the person can log on, fill out that document, and no need for something like a DocuSign or
Mhm.
external program. But those are really some of the areas where when somebody walks up to the booth, what type of property do you have? Okay, you've got 30 sites. Maybe we're overkill.
Yeah.
Maybe not. If there's some things that we offer, and one other one that I forgot to mention is not too common with RV parks, maybe more so with hotels, but it's growing with RV parks. And that's where you have individual owners in a site. Maybe
Oh.
the park, they're selling the sites, somebody buys that, and then they put it in a rental pool. We
Mm.
have a very nice owner's statement and owner's accounting module to do trust accounting, report the revenue, deduct expenses. So that's another tool that frequently people are looking for that, regardless of their size of their property, that is a strength for us.
Yeah, that right when you said that, it reminded me of one of the parks I visited out in South Carolina. I don't remember what it's called, like Ocean Lakes, I think is the name of it, where they have like those houses that are built up on the stilts, and like
Uh-huh.
each it's like a triplex, and each one is like a different one. So it makes sense to me. Like if they own just that little piece of the stilted house, I guess I always say stilts because here in Colorado we don't have to worry about the lake or ocean flooding underneath our house. So
The pillars or
pillars,
the pylons, whatever.
yeah, whatever you want to call them. Yeah. So that was a great thing about when I was traveling around with my last company is just like seeing all these other enormous mega parks that I've never seen before, where it's like mini cities that were just considered an RV resort. So, well, great, Chuck. I mean, you gave me a lot of information and that's what I love about doing these podcasts. Of course, we get on some tangents of side conversation, but I learned so much about things that I didn't even know. And I hope that that's what these podcasts are doing, is really helping people out there learn a little bit more about the product. The great thing about it too is they don't want to hear me blab. They can always just fast forward and listen to you. So it works out great. That's why I don't do live, because I think live you can't ever just really get to the point that you want to listen to. So I just do recordings and let people get past the point if they don't want to listen to it. So
Right, and make us sound like chipmunks, when we talk
exactly,
to
yeah,
people.
do it at a higher speed. Yeah, works out great. Well, Chuck, thanks again for taking time with me. I know we were struggling getting time on there based on my schedule and a little bit of yours, but yeah, I really do appreciate this. I'll have this podcast up and going here pretty soon. As soon as I get it out there, I will tag RMS, and if you're on LinkedIn, I'll tag you on there as well so people can get it. If there's any other staff members, I'll always try to search for other staff members just to tag them so they can see it. But yeah, if you have anything else, so last thing is how can people get a hold of you? What's the best way? Is it just going to the website, or just kind of do your spiel of how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, go to rmscloud.com, and that would prompt you to select maybe going to the Americas website. It'll redirect you automatically, but certainly sales at rmscloud.com. Me personally, CD for Chuck Dune, CD at rmscloud.com. But any of our team, Nezreen, the other salesperson here, our support team, anybody will be monitoring that sales account. But hit the website, click the link, and we'll be following up with you. And then hopefully come by our booths at the trade shows. So we'll be at Ojai in November. I will. So look forward to it.
Great. So there you go, guys. Oklahoma City. That's where Chuck will be in November. Somebody will be at the glamping show, which is coming up here in October. I'm pretty sure you guys will probably be at some of the other ones coming up. I think COE. I usually see you guys there. I'm not sure what other shows you'll be at, but yeah, definitely. And for those of you who don't know where the shows are, if you go to supplierspot.com, that's suppliers with an S, spot.com, you can click on conferences and trade shows. I got a whole list of them there. As I mentioned, the new website should be coming out here in hopefully a little while, and I'll have a better calendar version of all the trade shows out there where you can actually list shows yourself. So a lot of cool things coming down the line, looks like both for RMS and for Supplier Spot. So thanks again, Chuck, for being on with me today. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, thank you. And best of luck, Bobby.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Supplier Spot Spotlight. Keep shining bright in the RV, park, and campground outdoor hospitality industry. Stay tuned for more illuminating conversations with industry experts. Until next time, enjoy the great outdoors.